Welcome, ladies and gents. I just want to break down this interview that Camille Vasquez and Ben Chu did for Good Morning America. Really good interview, very professional, and always, again, consistently showing and displaying a level of professionalism above and beyond Elaine Bredehoff's, Amber Heard's team. Elaine Bredehoff did this, did the interview rounds literally the day after the trial ended, and started espousing utter nonsense. And it was utter nonsense. It was things to do with the jury, sort of stating that they broke legal grounds. They were looking at social media, all this kind of nonsense, and then playing the guilt card and all this kind of stuff. So I just want to break this down. This first statement from them is just absolutely fantastic.
He also went on TikTok yesterday thanking his supporters on social media. What role did social media play in this verdict?
My view is that social media played no role whatsoever. This was a decision made by the jury on the evidence presented by both sides, and as Camille said, it was overwhelmingly in Mr. Depp's favor. And
Ben Chu is quite right. Like, social media does not play a role in this. It should never have played a role in this. However, this is obviously the preceding question, which then leads to the nonsense from Elaine Bredehoff, their statement which they released, which is utterly disgusting. It's trying to imply that they're doing, they literally say a victory lap. A victory lap? Please. You went on and did these interviews the day after the trial, and their response is absolutely fantastic. And then what I really appreciate is the shade that Camille Vasquez throws at Amber Heard, the Me Too movement, everyone, but the right shade, because obviously there's an implication here that Johnny Depp winning somehow pushes the Me Too movement back. And the thing is it doesn't. It pushes what the Me Too movement should have been, which is a universal thing between both sexes, male, female. And that's what Camille Vasquez's reply is, which is, well, no, domestic violence has no gender.
Ms. Heard's lawyers put out a statement yesterday saying the verdict was a setback for women's rights. And they went on to say that it's unseemly and unprofessional for you all to be, quote, taking a victory lap for setting back decades of how women can be treated in the courtroom. How do you respond to that?
I think it's disappointing. We're only speaking about what happened in this case, right? And the facts in this case were overwhelmingly positive for Johnny, and the verdict speaks for itself.
What I've done here is just quickly cut in, and you're going to see the follow-on from this, because this is what's really important, and this is the media narrative that they're looking to push now. And this is why, unequivocally, the producer behind this presenter stated to him, you must push this matter. Me Too believes this is a setback. Women's rights have been set back. Let's push this. And this is the media spin on this entire situation, is that somehow a woman not getting away with defaming a man is a setback for women's rights. No, you had the right to say it, you did say it, and now you suffer the consequences for saying it. You defamed someone. But this is the utter nonsense BS that they're pushing, is that this is a setback for women's rights.
But the broader criticism, though, it's not just from Heard's teams. Victims advocates have argued that the verdict is going to have a chilling effect on domestic violence victims, and it's a blow to the Me Too movement.
I think our response to that is we encourage any victim to come forward. Domestic violence doesn't have a gender.
So you don't see this as a setback to the movement in any way, shape, or form?
We do not. We believe that the verdict speaks for itself. The facts are what they were. The jury made a unanimous decision based on those facts.
Again, just showing utter professionalism. And then the follow-on from this is just beautiful. It's glorious. Because this just absolutely tears apart Amber Heard, showing her to be disbelievable, Johnny Depp owning his issues, and it's just fantastic. It's very clear that everyone in the courtroom was seeing what we were seeing, and that's reassuring.
During your cross-examination, what was your impression of Ms. Heard's impression on the jury?
I think that her impression on the jury was what it was. I think something that I focused on and we focused on in that cross-examination was using her words against her. And it was very important for us to, every question that was asked was tied to something she had said previously. And I think the jury got to see and the world got to see and hear from Ms. Heard in that relationship on every single topic.
And George, I think there was a real contrast. Johnny took ownership of a lot of things, and it seemed at times, and perhaps it came through to the jury, that she had an answer for everything, and she wasn't taking accountability for anything. And I think that made a difference.
And now we get on to the very final last thing, where there's gonna be loads of headlines saying that, you know, he's gonna let her off the appeal let her off the damages if she drops the appeal, and all this kind of stuff. And it doesn't seem like that to me with this answer, but I could be wrong. It doesn't seem like that's what they're implying. It seems like they're basically saying, hey, look, we can't actually answer this question. But you're going to see loads of headlines about this. And then the media spin, my hot prediction, the media spin from there will be, well, if he doesn't do it, what a horrible person he is. He doesn't have to. He was legally awarded it.
Heard's lawyers say she plans to appeal the verdict. She doesn't have the money to pay for the judgment. And you all have said that the goal is not to impoverish Ms. Heard. Is it possible where we could see a settlement where she foregoes the appeal in return for Mr. Depp waiving any monetary damages?
Well, George, we obviously can't disclose attorney-client communications, but as Mr. Depp testified, and as we both made clear in our respective closings, this was never about money for Mr. Depp. So this was about restoring his reputation, and he's done that.
So you're not disclosing any privileges, but it sounds like that's something that could be on the table, but it's up to Ms. Heard?
Again, we have to be careful what we say, but this was about Mr. Depp's reputation. That was what it was about for him.
So there you have it. Great interview, great composure. There was another interview where they basically say the same thing and say how Elaine Bredehoft's commentary is disappointing, and it is disappointing. It shows a level of unprofessionalism. The implication that the jury looked at the trial and all this kind of stuff, it's just ridiculous. You know, this is why everyone's responded so well to Camille Vasquez and Ben Chu. They were just leagues above, and they are leagues above, and they always will be. Elaine Bredehoft and Rottenborn doing this sort of interview circuit and then chastising other people for doing it as well, it's absolutely beyond me. So I hope you enjoyed this breakdown, this quick video. It's fantastic, again, just to have someone sit there on television, and this is what is important, to push the spin away from this nonsense and say, look, domestic violence has no gender. There is no gender to it. Domestic violence happens to everyone. And this was the crux of why this this trial captured so many people's imagination across. It was non-partisan. Everyone was just, yeah, no, this is ridiculous. Very clear the evidence is here, and very clear that this person's been wronged. Let's rally behind it. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out my Teespring store. Supporting the channel via this way does go a long way, but also, not only that, you do get to wear some awesome merch. These are one-of-a-kind designs designed for me by my graphic designer. We, of course, have our Clown World line, which is in mugs, hoodies, t-shirts. We've got Space Jeebus. And then for something a little bit different, we, of course, have right down at the bottom right here, we have our Pulsar GTIR. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out and supporting my second channel, which is Car Nonsense. This is a vlog and car channel. You can find links to this in the description box, along with my Teespring. Please do consider supporting.